Epstein may. Well, she's got to demand. You're in no position to demand squadouche, lady.
Sure, she is. All she's got to. Her plan is perfect. To make things the way I want them, or Fifth Amendment all the way, baby.
You get to go, right? You get to get an outfit. You get to get out of your cell.
Well, and she's demanding that.
Yeah.
That it definitely be outside of the prison where she's being held.
Well, they're not going to bring Congress there. They're not going to do it via phone. But
because they might not let them out.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's the other thing. And we say this all the time. You will learn nothing in front of the cameras. Anything real takes place in a private room where they go like, they take your phone away the minute you get there, right? One of those, what do they call those rooms? I always forget.
Can't remember.
Where you go into those rooms and you have to leave your phone out there. That's where you learn stuff.
Oh, behind closed doors.
Because for the left and the right, it's about asking the question. So depending if you want this person to get this judgeship or whatever they're up for, agency.
Right.
And if you're on the right, you're going to ask that person great questions that's going to allow them to run forward. If you're on the left and you don't like that person, you're going to spend 4 minutes and 50 seconds rambling about whatever you want to ramble about, and then you'll throw it to them. And then they'll go, see, you couldn't answer it. And that's all for television purposes and for the internet. A skiff. Thank you guys very much. Skiff. Appreciate that. A skiff. So, and that's where those are the best places, the skiff. Because you got to leave your stuff behind. That's because it's real, right?
Yeah.
Like we're finding stuff out.
Yeah.
We're not going to unload the world's secrets in front of the whole world.
No, that's all for show.
That is all for show.
So you can yell at somebody and look like you're really concerned.
Yeah. But I want to bring her in if you're going to do it.
Well, absolutely.
Make her wear the orange outfit. We don't wear orange here. I know, but we want you to wear orange. I think he might commute her sentence or pardon her.
I don't know, man.
Dude, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I mean, maybe he's like saying this, so it gives her a glimmer of hope. Maybe she'll let something slip. But.
Okay, honestly, people, you love Trump, you hate Trump, whatever it is. How can you take her seriously on anything that has to do with Trump because she has to go through Trump to get out? So even if Trump did do something, I'm not saying he did, but even if he did, and if I tell everybody that he did it or he did something, that he's never going to let me go. Unless, of course, you've already talked to J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
And J.D.'s like, I got your back. So it's too late. Release everything, and then we'll figure it out from there. Because you're not going to tell everybody, not what we want to hear, but what we need to hear, or at least the powers that be, because you've got skin in the game. And I don't think you just can't trust anything she says. And she's a liar, and a child molester, and a trafficker, and all of those things. Let's not forget that.
This is why you still have the people just saying, just release the files.
Just release the files.
She's also going to want to stay on Trump's good side for the possibility of a pardon.
And that's what I said.
Exactly it.
How do you believe her? How could you? And if it was, let's just say this was, a Democrat president and the Republicans would be saying the same thing. How can you believe anything she's saying? Because, she's aiming for something. And people are also asking questions because he went and interviewed her, the second in charge, Todd Blanche, whatever, interviews her. He did it alone. He didn't take a bunch of people with him. So you can't, And she's not, let's be honest, she's not altruistic. She's not some like, let me get it off my chest. I want everybody to know the truth. She wants to get her ass out of there. So she is going to say whatever she needs to say to get out of there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And we'll see what kind of, if they give her anything. I just don't, there's a list of demands. I find that to be, as they would say, rich. Here's the list of my demands. You better come up with them or else. No, you're done, lady. You're done. And somebody said, I don't like to be called a conspiracy theorist. No. So, yeah, so she wants out. That's right. She does. She wants out. What would you say if you put yourself in your position, right? So, Bell's in there for stealing Swizzlers, right? He stole Swizzlers and he was selling them to kids and pretending they were, oh my goodness. And he's in jail for 20 years. And I'm on a list of maybe a Swizzler dealer. A Swizzler I made it up. And I'm on the list, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. But that you've got to go through me if you want out. Even though you've done some stuff, you've said some things, you've sold some stuff. We know that there's a lot of this stuff in there. You got to go through me still. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But there's enough out there. And even if I did, and you know it, but you got to come through me. You're not going to throw me under the bus if I have to give Bell his freedom. And I think if they were to do that, I think the first thing they would do is he would call BB and say, because her dad was, with the Mossad and all that stuff, he's going to say, I'm going to commute her sentence and we're deporting her tomorrow. She's coming to you. You guys deal with her. I think that's what they would do. It's just hard. It's hard to say that anything like that would happen. And she's a liar. And I go back to this. Let me see if I have it. Yesterday I played, and I'm not quite sure if I had it. The ladies that were, and there's several, there's over 200 victims. And her MO would be go to parks, high schools. She was looking for not the well-adjusted kid with a great family. Loners, kids who were kind of ostracized, kids who were in positions where if they went missing, meaning, they just stopped coming to school, that it would be like, she dropped out of school. Foster care kind of kids, single parents, mom not really caring or dad not really around, and taking advantage of them in that way. And this is Sarah Ransom and Virginia Dufresne. Virginia committed suicide earlier this year. Sarah is still alive, and Sarah is still going hard because she wants it to come out on how bad Maxwell was.
And you know yourself what I've been through trying to take her down. She had no remorse in her voice. Ghislaine has no soul. And you know yourself what I've been through trying to take her down. And the reason why I've had to go through that is because she's a dangerous human being. She will reoffend, and reoffend. These people never stop, ever.
She is a monster. She's worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious, she was evil, and she was a woman.
Her lawyers have said Ghislaine Maxwell is not a Jeffrey Epstein, that she has been a victim of media spin.
They're doing their job, but I know that woman. I've known her really well. Put it this way. Epstein was Pinocchio, and she was Geppetto. She was the guy controlling
the strings.
Jeffrey. Yep, she was pulling the strings. She had his money. He had her contacts. But Ghislaine was much more conniving and smart than Epstein ever was.
So, take it for what it's worth. We'll find out, because it looks like there's a good potential this is going to happen. And we'll go from there. And there's, everybody wants to know it's not a list. It's not like the black. There's lots of books and lots of files and lots of things. Just because you knew Jeffrey didn't mean you knew Jeffrey. That being said, there's probably enough through all of this that you can start to make out certain things, and you can start still ask questions. I mean, do you realize that when this went down, all of this stuff went down, the Department of Justice never once questioned her. Never once questioned her at all about any of this. And she thinks she deserves to be out of jail because when they made that deal back in 2007 or whatever, when he went away the first time for 4 minutes or whatever, he went away for house arrest or whatever, that she was supposed to have immunity. And because there was no new trial, you're putting her in jail for this? That's the whole thing. And that's what she's fighting the DOJ with, trying to get it to the Supreme Court, that immunity should count for this. I think she should rot in hell. That's just me.